Yeah, so Sylvain, how was he mentally? Because you mentioned that he's a Guardiola player,
Yeah.
but recently Guardiola's frozen him out of the team. He's been in and out. So when you were playing with him, mentally, what type of player was he? Was he resilient? Could he accept the criticism from the coaches? Or if you criticize him, would he, throw his toys out of the pram?
Or go into his
No,
shell?
he was fine. He wasn't throwing his toy off the pram. He wasn't like he was fine, but we had a very similar manager as we have at City now, which is a manager who like to play from the back no matter what.
Martinez.
Martinez. Yeah. So that means if you make a mistake, a costly mistake, because he's been too confident or because he's trying to force the play from the back, the manager would say to him like, "Never mind, you did the right stuff. Carry on." So now it's for you to feel like, okay, is it the right things to do or not? Because if you make a mistake and your manager says, fine, don't worry, and then the next game you make, or maybe 2-3 games after, you make this similar type of mistake and your manager just said like, no, this is what I want to do. You carry on. I don't care. You get into a pattern where mentally you feel like, well, I can make a mistake. It's okay. That's what my manager wants. So some will feel like, yeah, that's brave. And some will feel like, I don't know if it's brave or if it's stupidity.
Yeah.
Now, when you are at a place like City, yeah, it's okay because they've got so much quality. But at the time at Everton, that will cost us. So it's difficult. It's difficult. I know he reacted really well every time, but I'm a bit scared that because of the last two managers he had, that they put him in that pattern of like, it's okay to make a mistake, don't worry. Yes, it's okay because football is made of mistake. Yeah, the best player in the world make mistake, and if there was no mistake, there would be no goals. But it's a difference between like, you made a mistake, you have to make up for it, or you made a mistake, make sure it doesn't happen again and learn, or you made a mistake and it's okay. That's what I want you to do anyway. Just keep making those mistakes. That's a bit strange. So again, I think is with the team that they've got now and the manager that they've got now, yes, I think he's the perfect player. Will Guardiola, and again, no disrespect to Guardiola, I think he's a top manager. But will Guardiola make him a better defender? I can't see it. It'll make him a better player coming out from the back with the ball and everything. A better defender? I don't see it happening.
Sylvain, obviously, after your spell at Everton, you went to Bournemouth. And what I want to ask you is, you were getting towards the end of your career. Did you ever consider going into coaching or management? Because you always struck me, especially towards the latter end of your career, as that leader at the back. So why haven't you gone into management or coaching?
Because it's a really, really difficult road. If you look at the players in the last maybe 4-5 years who stopped football and went into managers, possibly 95% are English. I'm not. I don't want to get into this debate, but I'm just stating a fact. They are not black. And I was thinking like, I would love to. There's a part of me will love to be a manager and not to be a manager, just to give back what football gave me. And again, keeping that old school mentality and keeping some values and putting this value back into the players. I feel like that was my role as a player towards the end of my career. And I would love to carry that on as a manager or staff, but it's really difficult. If you look at the players who now had an opportunities, they are like top English players. I'm not top English player, so I'm thinking like, why am I going to start a road? You have to study for like 2-3 years, and why am I going to start to go through a road that I know is blocked? And possibly it's a mistake because you have to force doors, and to force the doors you have to knock at the door, and I didn't even try to knock at the door. So yes, it might be a mistake, but at the same time I'm in a position where I want to enjoy my life. I love my freedom, and I can't see myself being a manager in a non-league football because that's where you have to start, or that's what they make you believe it. But at the other hand, you've got players that have zero experience and go straight to top clubs. It doesn't make sense to me. So I'm like, you know what, just forget about it. But if an opportunity comes, why not?
Sylvain, I think obviously you're a powerful figure, and I think, what do you think needs to happen for these barriers to be broken down? Because I think a lot of people respect what you're saying at the moment.
I don't know. I don't know. I heard about like what they try to do to have like
The Rooney Rule.
ethnic minorities and put some. But I feel like you try and force something, and from my side, I always took it a bit as a pity, like, oh yeah, we're gonna take one of them just. I just don't feel like it's right, and as you see, it doesn't change anything to the football right now. That's just the way it is. What to do to change it? I don't know. Change the mentalities maybe, or possibly like players like me to stop feeling like the road is blocked and just try and force the doors. I think that will be the best solution. So that's why I said possibly what I've done is a mistake, and I admit it. I possibly felt like I was beaten before even starting, but that's my feeling.
Yeah, Sylvain, I wanted to go back to your, spell at Everton as well under Roberto Martinez.
Yeah.
On one hand, you had a manager at the start of the spell under David Moyes who was very tight at the bank and assured defensively. Then Martinez came in, and it's a different philosophy. And in his first season, you finished 5th. Obviously, throughout this conversation, you said you prefer the old mindset, compared to the new mindset. So what do you think was Martinez's failings at Everton? Because in his second season, he finished 11th. So what was that dip? What happened?
I think from his first season, what you have to remember is like a lot of players at Everton been there for like 6, 7, 8, 10 years. And under David Moyes, and we knew with David Moyes, you know what you do. Everything is drill, everything is square. You know exactly what you do, and I remember saying few times towards the end of the last season of David Moyes that we could have played the game without him. Not that we don't need him, but just that everything is clear. I remember some session on the Friday. It's raining, and you do like set pieces for like half an hour, 45 minutes, and you just like, you want everything. Everybody knows what you have to do. There's no little dark mark or spot left anywhere. You know what you have to do. So we could have played without him in that way. That's he just like
you were programmed almost.
Yeah, it's really that. So when Martinez came, even if Moyes was gone, you had a good 50% of us who was still the influence of David Moyes.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the best season for me, because you have a new manager with a new mentality, a new philosophy, and still the rest of David Moyes, and that mixed really well. The second season, because it's a different, Martinez is a different manager, and you do drills as well, but it's repetitive drills, tactically, technically. So that's Moyes' effect started to fade. And then on the second season, you've got more like the Martinez effect and what he wants and how he wants and his mentality. And to do that, I know it's beautiful. And I remember a lot of people, our manager at the time, if you say like, that's playing like Barcelona, nobody likes it, because you want to feel like you created that, but you didn't. It's Spain and Barcelona who created that type of football. And if to play that type of football, you need a certain type of player. And changing the manager doesn't change the player. You still have the same type of players. Again, no disrespect for the players at Everton, because we had an amazing time, but we were not those type of players. This is not where I think the best manager is a manager that come, adapt to the players, and manage to get the best out of the players. Not just come and say, this is what I want to do. We do it no matter what. If it doesn't work, or this player is not good enough, I change him because I've got the money. So I can change him and get the players I want. But when you don't have the money, you need a manager who adapts and get the best out of the players that you've got at the time. And for me, this is how I judge a manager as well. If you go to the top clubs and manage only top players, and if you're not happy, you can sell one and you've got 100 million to buy another one. I'm not saying it's an easy task, but it's much comfortable than if you go to a club like Everton and you don't have that. So yeah, the second season didn't go as well. Where did he fail? It's hard to tell. Possibly to adapt to the players he had. Possibly to understand that Everton is a special club with a special mentality, and yeah, at the end it just didn't work for him. Little by little, players started to possibly not buy as much into his mentality than he hoped.
Yes, Silva, what I wanted to ask, I wanted to dial in to, individual, Romelu Lukaku.
Yeah.
This is a player that's much maligned. He had success at West Brom, came to Everton, scored the goals, went to Manchester United, scored goals. But there's still sections within the English media that probably disrespect him and don't appreciate his qualities. And we've now seen him go to Inter Milan, where he's racking in the goals.
Yeah.
So from knowing Romelu and playing with him, how do you assess him?
It's very simple. Name a club he played and didn't score goals. forget about the media.
Yeah.
Forget about the media. The media just build and break players how they feel. It's not, most of them or some of them, it's nothing to do with football. It could be the agent. It could be, I don't know what's coming behind and I don't know the reason. I can hear about some players that for like 2-3 seasons, who when I watch them play, I'm like, I don't see anything special, and the players are built like they are by the media, like they are the next big things. That's media. You put the media aside and forget about the influence of the media. Romelu Lukaku scored everywhere. He's breaking every record for his age in terms of goal scoring. Yes, he's not as pleasant to the eyes to watch as a Ronaldo or Messi. Or what are we talking in football now? Are we talking you want a striker to score goals or a beautiful striker? Because if in my team, I want a striker to score. I don't care if you look beautiful. I don't care if I don't care. You score goals, I'm really happy. You make my job easy. Mm-hmm. You make my job easy. So you have to be careful with modern football. What you are looking at is the same as young footballers now. I'm talking about the kids at the academy. What are they practicing? The skills they see on the YouTube or whatever. That's not football. That's not football. And for me, Romelu is one of the best striker of his generation, if not the best of his generation. I don't know anyone around his age, forget about just his age, around his age, I don't know anyone who scored more goals than him. Mm. And the debate of like, is he nice to look at in the eye? That's a different debate. I'll talk about it with no problem. Is his first touch sometimes not as good as Ronaldo? Yes.
Yeah, people say it's baggy, yeah.
There's no problem with that. I've got no problem with that. You have to remember that he's not 30 years old yet. He's still very young. He's still very young. So can he progress technically? Yes. Does he make him bad technically? No. To me, no. He's just not as gifted technically than some players. Possibly as well because of what you can read and hear from the media and possibly fans, because fans get influenced by the media. Maybe sometimes he try to do things to show people that, yeah, I can do it. And he's maybe not playing on his strengths. But at the end of the day, he's scoring goals. And to me, he's one of the best. You can put any stat. You can put any stat against most of the players around his age. He'll be on top. So I think it's a fake debate to me. I think there's no question there. Honestly, I don't even understand anyone questioning his quality as a striker.
Sylvain, just a quick one from me before I ask you my final question. Do you feel certain sections of the media have agendas on specific players?
Yeah, clearly. I don't know if it's an agenda. I don't know the reason, but as I said, the media can make or break a career, or break a player as well mentally. You have to understand that I'm lucky because of my education. I've always been strong mentally. So you're always influenced by what you read and what you hear from the fans, always a little bit, but it's never been to the point to me that I'm like, oh, I can't anymore. But I've seen some player crumble under that, and it's not nice to see. We talk about mental health and everything. I can tell you I've seen some player in a bad state because of certain section of the fans or because of the media, and it's not nice to see. You remember that every footballer, before being a footballer, you're a man. You're a man. You've got your pride. You've got your problem at home. You've got families. You've got everything. And when you read stuff, sometimes it's deserved, but most of the time it's not. And when it's positive, yeah, it's great, all good. You take it. But when it's negative, it's hard, And sometimes you read things, especially when it happens at the time where you know the player or you play with him and you see how the guy work and everything and what he's doing, and you get no praise, you get nothing, or sometimes get like a bad press. You're like, how? I played with a guy like Nicolas Anelka, who always had a bad praise to his career. I played with him as the academy. I know him since I'm maybe 15 years old. I played with him at the academy. I played with him at City. He's a nice guy. Anyone who know him will say to you, he's a really nice guy. He's quiet.
I know he has a name called, people used to call him Le Soak. I don't know why.
That's for no reason. That's something that's built from the media, and then everybody jump on it. If you see a title of something or whatever in the media, you're just gonna say to your friend, "Oh, I've seen that about him. They said this," and your friend gonna repeat, and everybody repeat, and at the end, that's an image you've got, like it's on your back, and everybody feels that, and you have to fight against it, or you decide like they can say whatever they want. I just carry on with my life. I carry on with my career, and I think that's a bit the image we've got of Romelu Lukaku. You know, a lot of people feel like he failed at United. He failed at United. Look at the stat. How many goals he scored? Did he score more than other? No, maybe not. But he still scored a lot of goals. And if it wasn't for him, who will have scored those goals?
So Sylvain, I wanted to talk about, the current Everton regime.
Yeah.
You mentioned something very special, that Everton is a special type of club.
Yeah.
Since you left, we obviously saw Marco Silva come in. It didn't work out. Then what happened is Duncan Ferguson came in and he restored those Everton values. Yeah. Now Carlo Ancelotti's come in and he's taken it a bit forward. The team seem to be on an upward trajectory. Yeah. How would you assess Everton's future and how they're doing now?
I think the problem I had with Everton, no problem. It's not a problem. But my question is like, after I left, obviously, Everton is a special place for me and a special club. So I always keep my eyes on them and look at the result and everything. And I know they want to push for that top four, but they always got manager who's never been there before. And I always thought like, when Martinez came, that was the best group of players we've had. He never worked with the group of players like that before. And he came from below, if I should say. I know it's hard. If I say that, the Wigan's going to feel like, oh my God, do you mean you were shit? So you have to be careful what you say nowadays. But you know what I mean? And possibly the manager they've got now is the first one that have been there before and know how. If not been there once, know how. So I think it's to have a manager like him in place now. It's an amazing opportunity for the club. Financially, there seems to be stable and have a little bit of power now. So they've got a new stadium coming. I think if you give them a bit of time, and that's the big. It's a luxury in football now. Time, you don't have time, but if they give him time, I can see something really positive coming out of it. But you need to keep a guy like Duncan in, because he's the one who knows what Everton is, and he's the one who knows how to put that into the players. And I think it's a big part of Everton.
Sylvain, I just want to quickly ask you a question about your time at Bournemouth, and this is my final question, but it seemed, towards the latter stages of your career, you were starting to play for managers with, that ball-playing philosophy, who want to dominate possession, who want to pass the ball out from the back. So how was it working for Eddie Howe, and what were the differences between him and Martinez?
Different manager, possibly same philosophy, but different manager. They are the type of manager who now accept to be under pressure and accept the risk that being under pressure might be costly. You've got some manager who can't deal with it and don't want to deal with it and feel like, what's the reason? Why would I put myself under pressure in a very difficult part of the pitch as well? Like if you lose the ball in this part of it's a chance for the opposition to score. But you've got those type of manager now who just are comfortable with it. No matter, they rather lose a game, but with their mentality, than adapt and get a draw or win. So you just have to deal with it. I remember I always analyze a little bit my game through the week, and I remember with Moyes, you look at all your defensive stats. And I remember with Martinez, you end up looking at how many passes you've done and passes completion. And after 6 months, I was like, what am I doing? Am I number 10 or what am I? And I completely changed. I'm like, no, that's not me. Yes, I can have a look at it, but that should not be my priority. And I went from doing, I don't know, there's some games who possibly have done, 20 passes with Moyes. But you win the game and you won all your challenges and everything, and you're happy. And I ended up playing with the manager while I was doing like 100 passes per game. I was like, wow, did I enjoy it? No, because that's not my strength. That's not what I like to do. That's not my passion. I love to defend. Did I do it? Yes. The first season, I played every game. Whatever, if I had a broken ribs or whatever, he asked me to play every game, and I did it. But did I enjoy it? No, that's not me. So the difference between the two managers, they are not the same. They just have the same principle of like, we accept to be under pressure, we accept to take risk, and is kind of more or less, we have a plan A and we don't need a plan B, because no matter who we play, this is how we're going to play no matter what. And it's a little bit risky, but you have to accept it. If that's what you want to do, you have to accept that if it works, people are going to say you're a genius. But if you lose, you're going to lose a lot. So you have to accept it.
Yeah, Sylvain, you played with, you know, a lot of great centre-backs, and your generation had so many elite centre-backs. You had Ferdinand, Terry, Sol Campbell, Ledley King, yourself. So if you were to name one, who was the best centre-back of your generation in the Premier League?
I would say Vidic. Vidic, when I was playing, Vidic and Ferdinand was the two that I would have loved to compare myself with. And I was like, if I can reach that level, I'll be really happy. So they were the two. I think they work really well together. It's weird because as a centre-back, I never really picked one guy. I always picked a pair because I feel like a centre-back alone, you're not a centre-back. It works at two. You need someone next to you that complete you. And that's what I had at Everton with Jags. So I was always comparing us to what I thought was the elite at the time. And for me, Vidic and Ferdinand was the elite. And I have big respect for a guy like Vidic. I like what he was doing. Yeah.
Fair point. And final question from me, Sylvain. I know naturally you're a very determined, strong-minded individual. And I think it was back in 2014, you made a joke about it. And this is in reference to your international career, right?
Yeah.
That
wasn't a joke. That was a fact.
It was, yeah. Okay, fair enough, right? So, of course, you can laugh about it now and whatnot, but I think you've also come out and spoken about how, you know, you don't really have any sort of regrets over your career and whatnot. But do you still feel somehow that, you know, that some of the performances that you're putting in at club level and domestically should have earned you an international cap at least?
I don't know if it's that. I think my feeling is at the time where I felt comfortable with my performance, it was no centre-back, like confirmed centre-back in the national team. There are a lot of players coming, doing 2, 3, 4 games and then out and then another one. So you had massive turnovers in terms of centre-back. Nobody was really there, like this is the top one he's going to play. So because you feel like you're quite stable and you feel like, well, my turn's going to come. Mm-hmm. My turn's going to come. And then you can see players who like come in, who are in France, play for their country, and then they come in England and they don't make it. They fail, or they don't, I'm not say failing, but they can adapt, and they're not playing for their club, and you play game after game, and they still go for you're like, hold on, one day it's going to be me. Just keep going. That wasn't my goal, but so just keep doing your stuff and he will come. He'll have to come. And he never came. And I remember one day they pick like an A and a B team. I can't remember the reason, but they picked 2 teams. And I wasn't in the 2 teams, and I wasn't neither in they put like kind of reserve player, like if something happened, just keep free because you'll join us. And I wasn't in that list neither. And that day, for me, that was like, it's never going to happen. Yeah, I must be so far back down the list that I'm not in the A team, not in the B team, and not on the get ready in case team. And that day, I completely forgot about it. I just never, ever thought about it after that. Do I have an answer? No. I never spoke to anyone. I never asked anything. I never did anything. So I've got no idea. Again, during my time at Portsmouth as well, it was Lassana Diarra at the time was in the national team. And I remember after every game for France, he used to come to me, say, you'll be in the next one. Your name is there. They talk about you. They ask me about you. They want to pick you for the next one. You'll be in the next one. And then you kind of like build your hopes. That's it. That's my moment. The next game come. you're not in the list. You're like, what's going on? And then last come to me and said, I don't get it. And that's been like that. So I know my name been there. I know I've been borderline there, but I've never been. At the same time, we'll have enjoyed to just play a couple of games and then be moved to the side for someone else like they've done at the time. And just to frame a shirt, nah, that's not me. I just won't come and play. And so that's why I don't really have a regret. I would have loved to, don't get me wrong. I would have loved to, but I don't have too many regrets. I've got other, when you talk about me being the non-English players with the most games, that for me have more value than just a shirt framed of national team that I played only for one game. Would I love to play the World Cup for my country? Yes, that's 100%. But just a couple of friendlies? Nah, that's just not me. That's it.
Wow,
Sylvain,
this is amazing. Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
I just wanted to ask one more question. So
I'm not finishing with the Liverpool guy.
Sylvain, one more question.
Unless you said, I love Everton, and then you can ask
I love Liverpool. Sylvain, what I wanted to ask is, so what does the future hold for you? We see you on Instagram. We see your training regime. You're clearly, obviously, keeping fit. So in the future, or the near future, what do you want to do?
Keep doing what I'm doing now. I've got the freedom, and it's a luxury to be free nowadays. I've got a couple of projects around strength conditioning, something that I like, something that I feel like in football is not really used properly or used at all. You can hear some managers who said they don't want to see any players in the gym because you don't run with dumbbells on the pitch, which is completely crazy. They don't understand the benefit of it. It's an amazing benefit of it. It's not just for the summer looking good. It's an amazing benefit of it. I'm 42 today, and I'm as strong as I've ever been. As I said it before as a joke, but I actually will love to find a way to do it. I would love to do a 50 or 100 meters with all the centre-back in the Premier League and see where I will fit because I know what I'm doing and I know where I am. And I know I will not look ridiculous. And if that could be the proof for people or managers or clubs to understand that strength conditioning is something that is massive in football, for not just for your performance, for injuries prevention, for injuries recovery, for longevity, for your life after football, because so many players stop football and can't play football with their kids in the garden because their knees are done or their ankle are done. I'm 42. I do like stupid challenges. I try triathlon. And I love that. I love my life after football. So I've started a little, it's called Aventus 15. It's a little training camp before the season starts. And I try to not just train players, but to educate them as well, hoping that when they leave the training camp, they carry on the same process through the season and see the benefit of it. But I'm in the lucky position that I do that out of passion and not out of financial need. So I don't have to push it too much. I can choose the players I want to work with, which nowadays is difficult because players, during their break, they rather go to LA and do a flashy session that they put on their Instagram. Come in the place where you're going to work hard for a week, 2 sessions a day, and it's going to be no media. That's not the goal. So it's difficult, but there's still few players out there that want that. And most of the time it's the players that didn't make it yet. But the players that made it, I've been in a very lucky position, but when I see the players now, you see how much they paid and everything, some without proving anything. They feel like they've got everything. So they lose. If you give someone all their dreams, they lose the passion. And you give the players their dream way too early nowadays. So that's not a problem in football.
And hopefully one of your former clubs give you a ring and, we see you working behind the scenes very shortly. So it's been a pleasure, Sylvain.
Really
My pleasure, guys.
Thank you very much, Sylvain. We know that our listeners are absolutely going to enjoy this one. So listeners, thank you very much for listening in or indeed watching up until this point. Just a reminder, if you're not yet following us on Twitter, that you can do at podcast_TBG. You can also follow us on Instagram at pod_TBG. If you're not yet subscribed to the YouTube channel, I have no idea what on earth you're playing at. Make sure you subscribe ASAP. In fact, do it right now. Do it right now.
Yeah.
Subscribe right now. We've got loads more content coming. So stay tuned, stay locked and loaded because there's a lot more coming. A reminder that you can also listen to our episodes on Spotify, on SoundCloud, and on Apple Podcasts. And if you are listening in on Apple Podcasts, please make sure you leave a 5-star review, because your engagement and your reviews help us to continue to build the platform and move the platform forward. Until the next episode, we're going to leave it there. Over and out.
Peace.